We have a huge show for you on this Friday, and it is a huge show. Why? Because we had a doubleheader of NFL preseason football last night. The watch party at the Fisher residence. What were you guys eating? What were you guys watching? How many people were able to attend? 50 plus, you would say?
No, I would say take the 5 off of that. And
That would be Derek. That would be 0.
No,
you weren't even there.
No attendees. No attendees. Man, the day doesn't end. When I leave here. So a few other things going on, but the great part about 2026 is you can take it with you everywhere. So, pulled up the phone and had the. I'm not going to say the name of the platform because they're not paying us to say their name.
If it's not on 97.1 The Fan, it doesn't matter.
But yeah, I had the game on, the Raiders and Texans game on. The 49ers and Chargers game started. I was at a charity event last night, and so I didn't get to see much of that game, but got to watch the Raiders and Texans. Good. At least the first half. The score wasn't great, but early on, fairly competitive, and so not a big watch party.
We'll get that for the preseason finale for the Raiders next week.
Maybe regular season.
Season watch parties at the Fisher residence.
I don't know.
Everybody come through. Were you feeling the football juices, the football fever, and what you were watching? Are you excited for this football season?
Yeah, I'm excited for the season. Preseason's always a little more challenging. Yeah, for me, not seeing, the teams, like they're playing their main guys and giving us a glimpse. Mm-hmm. It's hard to get a glimpse of what this team is actually going to look like.
Right.
Because I'm not as, unless it's, Mendoza's the number 1 pick. You know who that is. Mm-hmm. But unless you're really, dialed into specific players to watch, preseason hasn't always been, something I'm super fond of, but I'm coming around to it.
Good.
Obviously now,
I'm going to get you hyped up.
I'm paying more attention than I used to.
That's
preseason
good.
Football, especially it's on random nights of the week.
Right.
I'm a football Saturday and Sunday guy.
Yeah.
Friday nights high school, Saturdays college, Sundays NFL.
Yeah.
Random weekday games doesn't. It's hard to get me on that.
That's the NFL now. We've got the Wednesday season debut, the Super Bowl rematch in under 3 weeks between the Seahawks and the Patriots. A game on Friday in Melbourne, Australia that will air here on a Thursday night. We're under 3 weeks away from that. Just 20 days from the Rams' regular season debut against the San Francisco 49ers. And we are 8 days away from football here in Los Angeles. The USC Trojans, San Jose Spartans. A week from tomorrow, to Raj's delight, we are going to talk some college football throughout this show. Was that the Pride of Troy that you were humming there, Raj? That didn't really sound like the...
I tried. I think I stopped because it was actually the Raiders one.
That's
what I'm going to do better. I'm going to get better at college. Don't you worry.
All right.
Raj, did you go see the Odyssey yet?
I did.
Okay.
Did you?
We'll talk. Yes.
Did you enjoy it?
I did. Yeah, I did enjoy it.
Me as well.
Yeah.
Thoroughly.
It was I'm a Christopher Nolan fan, so the movie's great, the acting's great, but I love the way he presents film. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good.
What is your all-time favorite Christopher Nolan film?
Probably The Dark Knight.
Knew I liked you. Me too.
Dark Knight.
Dark Knight is the all-time greatest Christopher Nolan film. And there are many that are great.
For sure.
But The Dark Knight, not just because it is a superhero film, but because of what it represents, the acting in that, just truly legendary. Knowing your acting prowess now, do you think we can call Chris? Actually, we can't call him. He doesn't have a cell phone. Do you think we can send a carrier pigeon to Chris to get you in his next film?
We can send the pigeon.
We're going to try. We're going to start the campaign for Derek Fisher to act in the next Christopher Nolan blockbuster, maybe alongside Matt Damon or Tom Holland or whoever is necessary.
Travis Scott.
That was crazy as a bard.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until I went into the movie theater and saw it.
It was good.
Yeah, it was really good. Really, really enjoyed the Odyssey. Everybody should watch it, including USC football, who in a very ill-timed tweet about the Odyssey, not understanding how that war played out.
I kept thinking about that during the movie.
Yeah, it's like, guys, just a little bit of history in the Iliad.
Yeah.
Just know it wasn't. It's called the Fall of Troy for, you know what? They're focused on football. We'll talk about USC and their season opener in 8 days a little bit later on. Preseason week number 2 got started last night with a doubleheader featuring teams here in the greater Los Angeles area that we care about. Of course, although they play in Vegas, last night in Houston, Fernando Mendoza in his second game for the Silver and Black. The Chargers at home in SoFi hosting the San Francisco 49ers. Defense, let's start with Fernando Mendoza. Not just his second game as a Raider, his first start. We did not see a lot of the starters last night for Las Vegas. Kirk Cousins made the debut in preseason week number 1. It was Fernando from the jump. And after the Texans score on the opening offensive possession, Fernando leading the Raiders down the field, couple of big chunk plays, and then a pass that was either ill-timed or slightly behind his intended target. It was picked off by the Texans rookie linebacker Wade Woodaz, and it was taken back for an 80-yard pick 6. A little bit more struggles for Mendoza last night in game 2 of his preseason career than his debut a week ago at Allegiant Stadium. 8 of 15 for Mendoza, 86 yards, and that interception. He played all 5 of the offensive possessions for Las Vegas in the first half. What do you think Raiders fans were thinking watching Fernando Mendoza in his second preseason game last night?
I mean, probably the same things, like, some flashes of, this is going to be our guy, and we're happy with where he is. And then also, like fully accepting the reality of, like, there's going to be more of this as he continues to mature and evolve as a young player. Part of the theory for me around Mendoza was almost like proven last night, right? It's either you're either going to start him right from the beginning and allow him to kind of have these type of experiences and nights, and however bad it gets, like, just let it be bad. Short of him being injured, there's really no bad result, right? Like, he make all the mistakes, learn all the information that you can about playing the position at this level. But, like, the Raiders are going to, after the first few weeks of the season, they have a 4-week stretch where the season, like, exponentially gets more difficult.
Yeah.
And if you don't start him the first few weeks, last night kind of, for me, confirms, like, you don't then start him when it's time to play the Bills, the Rams, they have 4 games that are absolute juggernauts. And so, last night was totally fine for me. The Houston Texans defensively, even without their starters, that's their identity. Like, they are an elite defensive football team. So for them to have, second string, third string guys going against a rookie quarterback, even with your most basic packages and coverages, offensive line still learning how to work together. The play, he threw the pick 6, a little bit of pressure in his face, kind of backpedaling on his back foot a little, and the ball kind of got behind the receiver. Actually didn't sail out in front of him. And those things happen. I like what I liked the most was, I thought he was going to blow out a hamstring, but I like how hard he ran to try to tackle the guy before getting in the end zone.
Yeah.
Like, that to me shows a level of mental toughness. As his career goes on, he probably won't try as hard.
Right.
Most veteran guys kind of get out of the way. But I liked seeing that in him, and that's leadership. Like, he wanted to show his teammates that he wasn't just going to give up on the play.
And for what it's worth, he did chase down Wade Woodaz, but he just didn't make the tackle. Like, he got there. He was on the right angle, and then Woodaz just kind of brushed him off as he was near the sideline to take it to the house 4-6 in Houston. Let's hear from the new head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, that being Clint Kubiak, on his reaction and what he saw to that pick 6 from Fernando Mendoza.
The response that's who he is. I think defensively they covered the play really well, and the backer did a great job stepping in front of our check down. I got to go watch it, but the response is what we come to expect from him.
That response being chasing down Wade Woodaz, and on the next few drives for Fernando Mendoza, he did lead a scoring drive, the first in the second quarter, resulting in a field goal. Again, 8 of 15 for Fernando Mendoza, 86 yards, and that pick six. Prior to the pick six, Mendoza marched the Raiders down that field pretty quickly. A 22-yard strike to Jalen Naylor, an offseason acquisition from Minnesota for Las Vegas. A 33-yard run by Malik Washington set them up near that red area before the pick six from Fernando Mendoza. And one thing, Fish, that everybody is going to learn about Mendoza, if you did not know already, from his days up in Berkeley at Cal, certainly last year leading Indiana to an undefeated season and a Heisman Trophy winning campaign, he is a goofball. He loves a microphone. He loves to be very polished. It was an ESPN national broadcast last night. Mendoza speaking to sideline reporter Laura Rutledge. Here's what Mendoza had to say in the second half. All right, we're going to get that sound in just a moment from Fernando Mendoza because that is what we will hear. It is the goofy, cheery nature of Mendoza, but of course enjoying his experience in the National Football League. All right, Fernando Mendoza, always one for a great soundbite.
Okay, well, you nailed it. We'll go tell Kirk that you did a great job.
Thank you. Please do. And please tell Mr. Buck I say hello.
Oh, we love it. There you go. What about Mr. Aikman?
Oh, of course. I mean, he's a legend, you know. I think Mr. Buck needs some more love because, I mean, Mr. Aikman's already, you know.
Well said, Fernando. You nailed it.
Thank you. God bless.
Courtesy of ESPN. If we ever get Fernando on the 97.1 The Fan airwaves, he is going to call you Mr. Fisher. There is not a doubt in my mind.
I don't know. You know, he might revere those guys a little more than me. It depends on who he was a fan of growing up.
He grew up in Miami. I don't know how big of a basketball fan he was, maybe of the Heat back in the day, but I do feel like
his back in the day is like 2020.
That's actually kind of crazy. He feels a lot older than he is, but he was definitely born in like 2002.
Yeah,
actually, let's look that up.
Might be less than that. I mean, he's probably 21, 22 years old.
He grew up. He knew LeBron's decision as like one of the formative years of him in kindergarten. So maybe not the biggest fan that. Well, no, he would. I still think he would call you Mr. Fisher.
That might have captured him as a kindergartner in South Beach.
Yeah,
and the Heat getting their thing going. But yeah, he might.
Yeah,
I mean, definitely old enough to be his dad. So he might call me.
If he called me Mr. Stevens, I'd be like, Fernando, no, not a chance, not. It's still crazy that you watch a lot of these college kids now playing in the National Football League and they're like 21, 22 years old because I still think of myself as like a 22-year-old, but I'm 10 years north of that. So Fernando Mendoza in his second game with the Las Vegas Raiders. Clint Kubiak also saying after the game when asked, as he basically has been throughout training camp and now after the 2 preseason games, to name that week 1 starter or if anything that he has seen throughout camp or in preseason action has clarified who that debut week starter is going to be, he still said we've got one more week to figure it out. The plan seems to be Kirk Cousins. I do not believe it is going to be Fernando Mendoza, but head coach Clint Kubiak, D-Fish, keeping it a little bit open-ended still for the Silver and Black.
Yeah, conceptually, I think he's doing with the quarterback position the same thing he's doing across the entire roster. What it sounds like, at least, from a cultural standpoint as a team in terms of first-year head coach, resetting how they approach the game, how they approach the locker room, what he wants their mindset to be. With the quarterback position, he's doing the same thing. Like, everybody's going to earn everything. Nobody's getting handed anything. I don't care who you are, how many years you played, what your last name is, what your contract says. Every week you have to go out and earn the right to be on the field first, or at all. And so, I think he's just remaining consistent with that concept. Is if you don't do it with the quarterback position, then it's hard to tell the free safety that he has to, be held to that standard, and the punt returner and the long snapper. So you're just, trying to make sure that mindset becomes a part of who the Raiders are.
Yeah.
And I like it. I mean, even if he knows already, I like him sticking with what he said from the beginning.
And it's also a really interesting thing for the Raiders. You pointed out the schedule. You play in the AFC West. It is going to be difficult. It's middle of the pack in terms of strength of schedule, but nothing is easy around the National Football League. Just in terms of the timeline, if Fernando Mendoza is going to start for the Raiders at any point during his rookie season in 2026, the Raiders' bye week is not until week 13. Normally, if you are struggling and there's a bye week 6 or 7, then you might see the rookie debut with an extra week of preparation. Of course, that doesn't happen for the Raiders until the month of December, just to note that there. Do you remember what your first preseason action was like in the fall of 1996? What was preseason basketball like back then?
I mean, for a guy like me, I was just like these guys.
First round pick?
Yeah, first round pick, but no, I mean, the ink wasn't dry. So
the ink wasn't dry when you played your first preseason game.
No, I mean, because even as a first round pick, like in the NBA at that time, like you still. Or I don't want to say like there was no guarantee. Your contract is guaranteed, but my mindset was never. I was an undrafted rookie as far as my brain was concerned, and so I approached preseason games and practice in every game like it was the last one I might play. So my first preseason game was the same, that same approach. I remember. I was sitting down towards the end of the bench because in the preseason, like all the rosters are larger than normal.
Yeah.
So in the NBA, there's 20 guys sitting over there instead of 13 or whatever. And I'm sitting down towards the end of the bench, and Dale Harris calls my name. I got up so fast and sprinted to the scores table. I remember bumping knees with Nick Van Exel and a couple teammates. That's how fast I was trying to.
They're like fish, dude. Come on.
Yeah. They're like, bro, slow down. But yeah, that's the mentality. So when watching NFL preseason, that's why I mentioned the guys on special teams.
Yeah.
Because that's the mentality that I felt like I played basketball with. Like, this is my one chance to go down here and make a play.
Yeah.
And so I always appreciate that about guys. And yeah, man, I mean, you can't practice bad habits. So even in the preseason, man, it was game 7 for me.
Was your preseason debut the same night as Kobe Bryant's preseason debut in the fall of 1996?
I think he might have still been coming back from the broken hand.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he played. Yeah, he may have.
Both first round picks in 1996.
No, because I remember the play in Vegas when he the crossover and dunk against Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe so.
Yeah, he might have.
You sprinted right past him as you were going to check in the game for the first time.
Maybe. There was a short stretch where I went into games before he did. It didn't last very long.
Well, hey, you still have that distinction.
Somebody knew basketball that decided.
You were pretty
Maybe
good.
This guy should play a little bit more.
Listen, for what it's worth, you also won 5 NBA championships, so that's pretty solid. In the other game of preseason action to start off week 2 on a Thursday night, it was here in L.A. inside SoFi Stadium. Justin Herbert, entering year number 7 in the National Football League, did play in the very first series. And this is why I know you're a preseason football guy. You predicted last night it could be a 3-and-out. And that would still be the only set we see out of Herbert. That was the case, Fish. 1 drive for Herbert, 3 plays. He attempted 2 passes, completed 1. Brock Purdy got the start on the other side for the San Francisco 49ers. And notably for the Chargers, at least in their first offensive line unit, we did not see Rashawn Slater dress last night for Los Angeles. Joe Alt was out there starting at right tackle. And as we have discussed, the critical injury to Tyler Biadasz, who was signed this offseason to anchor the interior of that O-line for the Bolts, he is going to miss some significant time. So the second-round rookie out of Florida, the man with a great last name for an offensive lineman, Jake Slaughter, did get the start at the center position. And, of course, that is going to be about priority number 1, Fish, for the Chargers this year, is keeping Herbert upright. Because we saw it last year in the playoffs, losing to New England. He was sacked 6 times. They only scored 3 points. He was hit 106 times last year. No other quarterback in the NFL hit even more than 95 times in 2025. So Jake Slaughter gets the start, the rookie at the center spot, now trying to fill in the big shoes of Tyler Biadasz.
Yeah, in a year where, internally for sure, and I think even externally, the people see the Chargers having a football team capable of making a run this year. you can't ask for a worse start to, the preseason than losing Tyler Biadasz, like at the center position. Every, NFL team, the quarterback is the guy, but like for Justin Herbert in a new offensive system, trying to establish a new way of playing football, like to lose the center is just, it's like an NBA team losing, their point guard in the preseason and he's done. And so Slaughter, I think, obviously all these preseason reps will matter for him, but then fortunately the Chargers start with the Cardinals and the Raiders the first 2 weeks.
Yep.
Still in NFL. I'm not slighting those teams, but not necessarily the best defensive lineman you're going to see. You're not going to see what you run into as the season goes on.
Yeah.
So it's almost like an additional couple weeks of preparation for him to get some reps in, but he's arguably going to be the most important guy on the roster at this point after that loss of Biadasz.
And the good thing is, at least he has a few weeks in camp ahead of game preparation to fill in and get ready.